Here with Pheno Boxing, here with Chris ALGIERI, former world champion. We're 2 hours away from the weigh-in. Ryan Garcia versus Gervonta Davis. You know, it's been an entertaining fight week. What do you make of, you know, just being a few hours away from the fighters weighing in?
Well, I mean, it has a big fight Vegas feel, which is incredible for something that's not even a title fight. You know, we got two young guys under 30 years old who are putting it on the line. But you know, it really is. It's got that feel. It's in the air. It's good, man. Boxing is healthy when you got young guys like this who are willing to put their O's on the line against each other. I love the fact that these guys are doing this. I respect the hell out of both of them. And yeah, I mean, this is good for boxing. We need more of this.
Yeah, you know, and that follow, you know, it goes with my follow-up question. You know, this is the fight that might seem that opens the floodgates, you know, to get those fans, those fights that fans want to see. Now we see Loma against Haney. We might get Spence against Crawford. You know, you think this is the one that is going to open up those floodgates and be able to, you know, to have cross promotion between the Zone, Showtime, Golden Boy, you know, Matchroom, PBC, and all that.
I think we're seeing more of it anyway, even before this fight. But yeah, maybe this could be the one to break over the floodgates, like you said, you know, to quote you. But we're seeing more cross-promotional fights happening. There's more demand by the fans. I think this fight is so important and impactful because it's going to bring maybe the more casual fans or the people who aren't really boxing fans to the sport because of the popularity of both Ryan and Gervonta. We got people who aren't really boxing fans who are their fans who are now going to come and understand and see this fight. They're going to come to Vegas. They're going to get the experience of what a fight is like, a big fight, and then they're going to want more of it because boxing, like we all know, it's an addictive drug. You go to it, you enjoy it, you want more of it, and hopefully more people more eyes will be brought to the sport because of this fight, and we'll see more and more of these kinds of fights. We have a great year coming up.
Yeah, we do.
If everything goes off the way it's scheduled, I mean, we have a really, really good first half of the year for boxing.
And Chris, who do you favor in this matchup? You know, a lot of people say it's 50-50, but you know, they kind of tend to, you know, tank side a little bit. Who do you see, you know, maybe having a majority or, you know, an advantage over?
Yeah, I've been flip-flopping on this in my head, you know, over the past couple of weeks and months, really. I mean, my head is with Tank, just like you said. Like he is the favorite. Most people out there are leaning towards Tank.
Yeah.
It's a close fight. It's somewhat of a pick 'em fight, but leaning towards Tank. My heart goes with Ryan though, because I think he's got that X factor, and it's not just the power, it's not just the speed. I think he's got a specific kind of chip on his shoulder that comes out when he's dealing with Davis.
Yeah.
And you know, I remember him speaking about it a long time ago. I remember getting bullied, and you remind me of the bully. You know, and like that I remember that it might have been a year or two ago that he said that, and I was like, man, like that's insightful. That tells you a lot about where he's coming from in this fight. So, yeah, my betting brain's going with Davis.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be surprised if Ryan pulls it out.
If Ryan pulls it off. Do you think it goes the distance? You know, most people are saying that we're not going to. Yeah.
Either way. I can see it end early, like really early in the first 3 rounds, or I could see it end late.
Yeah, Ryan's co-trainer predicted within 3 rounds.
Yeah, I can see that.
He said he's hitting harder than ever. He even said, just doing mitts is stronger than a stronger pop than what Canelo will bring to the table or Frank Sanchez. You know, so I said that's speaking high volume. You know, like, but he said, like, trust me, just the way he's been the last year, like, you know, the body, you know, has matured, and it's like night and day difference.
I mean, but the thing is, I think Gervonta gets a bad rap when it comes to his boxing ability. I think he's actually a much higher boxing IQ than people give him credit for. He's analytical in there. He sets things up. He can box off the back foot. He can counterpunch. You saw in the Rolly's fight. Rolly was super aggressive, very physically strong, very rough guy in there. And Gervonta, you know, felt that strength. He was like, all right, I'm gonna fight with the back foot, and knocked him out with his back against the ropes. You know, so he's a layered fighter as well. Can Ryan knock him out? I 100% believe he can. I think Ryan can knock out anybody. He's got that kind of power. But is he going to be able to land that shot to get the respect, to put it on his chin and get him out of there? I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. Time will tell. Yeah. And, you know, I wanted to get your thoughts. You know, it seems like, you know, Spence against Crawford is getting to be announced. You know them pretty well. Who do you favor, you know, early on? I know they're a little bit older now. Fight fans are like, man, we should have seen that years ago. But now it seems that it's a reality. So who do you give the edge to between the two?
It's so hard to say now. It was hard to say a year ago. Now it's even that much more difficult.
Yeah.
We don't know who's stepping in the ring at this point. You know, especially with Spence, all the out of the ring issues that he's had in terms of his health and car accidents, multiple car accidents. That takes a toll on a person's body. The retina, that's a big deal. It's sometimes a career-defining ending injury. Thank God to modern medical science. You know, we're definitely better at dealing with that now. But still, it takes a toll. And Crawford hasn't been all that busy as of late. He's getting up older. So it's such a hard fight to really go. I mean, I was always leaning towards Spence, you know, but as Crawford spent more time at welterweight and grew into the weight class, it made that gap much tighter. And I mean, before this fight fell apart, I was at a pick'em fight, 50-50.
Yeah.
I don't really know where I'd be at this point.
Yeah, I guess, you know, time will tell. And want to get your thoughts as well.
Time will tell if it even happens.
Yeah, true. I mean, it's, you know, I spoke to Steven Espinosa, said that they're at the 1 year line, but they've been there before, so
exactly.
We'll see. Time will tell. And you've been to Guadalajara before, following the Chavez fights, if I recall correctly. Canelo's making a comeback after 12 years. You know, what do you make of that? He's been criticized, you know, for the opponent, John Ryder. He is the mandatory. People want to see him against Benavidez. But, you know, what do you make of Canelo going back home at only 31?
I think it's great. I mean, I was a hometown fighter. I fought in my hometown. I was grassroots. I grew up fighting in my hometown, literally in my backyard. I won my world title in Brooklyn, which is not far from Long Island, where people could literally take the trains. I think that there's an extra layer when you're fighting at home, and I think that's why Canelo wanted this fight to be here. He had an opportunity to fight in England, which I thought was a great idea. They have fantastic fans over there. Introducing Canelo Alvarez to England, good idea. But he went with his heart. He wants to fight back at home. I think John Ryder is actually a good opponent. A lot of people are not giving him any kind of credit. They want to talk badly about Canelo, but everybody wants to do that all the time. Canelo gets a lot of criticism because he's the man. So I get it. But I think John Ryder is much better than people will give him credit for. He's very crafty. He's physically strong. He's nicknamed Mr. Gorilla for a reason.
Yeah.
You know, he's got a little bit of height advantage on Canelo. They're closer in size, which Canelo does really well against bigger guys, as we've seen, bigger, slower guys. John's not that kind of guy. So it's a different kind of fight. And also Canelo's coming off a hand injury. So fighting a very durable guy like him, it's not an easy fight. It's not an easy fight. So I wouldn't be surprised if Canelo struggles in that fight, actually. And he's going to get even more criticism. But John Ryder's an excellent fighter.
Yeah. And you know, what do you make of, you know, Canelo wants now that rematch with Bivol if he does get past John Ryder at 175. Bivol wants it at 168 for all the belts. You know, he wants to be undisputed champion. Who do you favor, you know, in that matchup if it does take place at 168?
I'm going to agree with my man Oscar De La Hoya. I don't think he ever beats Bivol. It's a style matchup nightmare. I said it before they fought the first time. It's the way he fights with that in and out, that touching, the size, youth. It was just too much. It was too many things. And you know, listen, we're fighters. I've done this myself. Sometimes we aim too high. There are things that you want to do because you're a champion and you think you can beat anybody in the world, but there's just too many factors that go against Canelo in that matchup for me.
Yeah. So who could be the guy who could beat Bivol? You know, obviously he beat Zurdo, he beat Canelo. Now, you know, Jaime Munguia could want that opportunity. It might happen, it might not. You know, you have Benavidez, but people are asking, like, who's the Mexican who's going to beat Bivol? Like, who could it be?
I think Benavidez has the ability. I think Benavidez is phenomenal. I really do. I think he is an absolutely tremendous fighter. I think stylistically he could put a little more physical pressure on Bivol. The size is a little bit different. You know, I think a big part of the problem with Canelo is the size with Bivol. You know, Benavidez is a bigger guy, so that's possible. Callum Smith, another guy I think could actually give Bivol some trouble. Big power. He's showing that 175. He's long. He's strong. He can box. Even though he folded against Canelo, if he shows up, I think he's a problem for anybody in the world, Bivol included. That being said, I still think Bivol beats everybody. I think the style is just better be included. I think he beats Better Be as well. So I'm a big fan of Better Be. Big fan of him.
But he is 39. He has been dropped.
Yes.
Callum Johnson almost got him out of there early on when the first his own telecast in Chicago a few years ago. So he's shown, you know, that he's vulnerable as well. So even in that matchup, you do favor Bivol.
Yeah, and I think stylistically, I think Better Be would have a real hard time getting to Bivol. Bivol's defense is very good. Doesn't get hit much at all.
Lastly, Chris, you know, we're getting the Fino followers, boxing followers. Subscribe to your YouTube channel, your podcast. I know you're always on the go, always doing, you know, working different channels. You work for Pros Box Now, The Zone. You work for ESPN, Top Rank. So it's like, you know, we see you on TV all the time.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm trying to get out there as much as I can in the sport that I love. But yeah, check out my podcast, Inside Boxing Live, with Dan Canobio on the John Boy Media, and then also Pro Box TV. We're putting out a ton of content. We're going to be rolling out a lot more in May, so stay tuned.
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate it.